that cycle they had a really close shot.
Yeah.
They did one mistake and they dropped the ball on that one. This is the chance. This is a series where they're going to be proving themselves.
Really can't stress that enough. I mean, this is a team that, again, going into the qualifiers, they were one of the only teams that, you could argue that was really expected to make it, and then the others were kind of up in the air. That obviously didn't happen. They came up really short. They had a poor performance, frankly, in the qualifiers, and thus they had to start from the gold division. We thought, at least by now they might have worked their way in. Yeah, as you mentioned, they've come up short, though, here several times. Their third time is a charm for them, though, here in cycle number 3. They're going to try for it. But Rexar's report obviously has proven themselves as well, and looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. Now, we do have a lot of just random names here, so I don't know if these are just sub-accounts or actual ringers here, but we're going to go ahead and – I'm going to go ahead and say they're sub-accounts, but
They should be. They should definitely be sub accounts. I know what a player is definitely a sub account. Baby Chaos, I have no idea. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can say that on stream, but I don't know who Meraxis is either. But Denver and Mewtwo we know definitely.
Yeah.
So.
That's kind of
Oh, and Fate
ridiculous.
just banned Shadowblade.
Wait.
That's interesting.
Fate just banned Shadowblade. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess. Yeah, wow, they're already out of time. Holy crap. They used a lot of time.
He's under pressure here, apparently.
All right. I mean, kind of have to stick with it because the timer ran out. So, not the biggest. At least it was a ban. I mean, it could have been a pick, and then that's where it gets much worse. But
oh yeah,
that's
they can work around this. Did you go over the bans initially?
No.
The first couple of
let's do that though. We got Warbeast, Tremble, Swiftblade, Midas were the bans. We have Behemoth into Magnus, Tempest into Andromeda, Clanks into Hellbringer here. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with so far. What do we think?
I think they have a really solid lineup on the Hellborn side. Have you, by the way, checked the win rate on Hellbringer these days?
Is it pretty high still?
It's pretty high. It's 59%. That's like 5 percentage points away from Zephyr level.
Oh wow!
So I'm just putting it out there. This is a strong hero that is still not really respected, I feel like. So I worry for this Tempest's ability to land Tempest holes when there's a Hellbringer and an Andro that are both going to be ready to cancel that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a strong lineup so far, but they need 2 heroes that really can deal some damage. Hellbringer and Andro, Andro is good for swapping out a hard carry. Hellbringer is good for sustaining a fight or counter initiating. But they need something to catch Clanks.
Oh, yeah, Corrupted. Maybe not necessarily a Clanks catcher, but
no.
Carry that.
He's definitely he's tanky enough to be swapped out by Andro before melding to the Behe ulti and whatnot. But not the strongest carry that comes to mind. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Definitely like some Doctor Repulse or Puppet Master, something with lockdown and damage. But okay, Bubbles. Well,
all right.
This is all in on Clanks. They're 100% in on Clanks here.
It seems like that's a usual Clank strategy.
Yeah, I mean that's what we know. That's what we used to know Balthasar for. Pretty much, just he was the solo core of the team, and the rest of his team were there to stack the jungle, stack the ancients, make sure Balthasar had 600 GPM plus, so he could take the game. But yeah, it's a risky strat if Rexors decide to pick some single target damage that can burst him down. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I want to go back to Hellbringer real quickly because he really has been an interesting hero. I mean, you're right. Obviously, right now, as TMM at least, win percentage, he's very good. He's the top, in fact. You got a couple teams have been using him here in these cycles, and it seems like he's been doing pretty well. I mean, his ultimate is still one of the best. It's always been one of the better ultimates in the game. But, the top-tier teams, I feel like they still haven't necessarily been picking him up. It seems like kind of the second-tier teams, this Rexars, you got Revolution, so
yeah.
That's interesting seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that trend either. I feel like my theory on it is that the top tier teams they're so much more experienced that they don't really feel threatened by any of the new strats, and they might not feel the need to improve and figure out new strats because they haven't lost to it yet. I think if some of the top tier teams had lost to the Hellbringer strat,
Hmm.
they would definitely start considering it. But since it hasn't happened yet, I think they're just deeming Hellbringer to be too weak.
Yeah.
That would be my take on it, at least.
All right. Well, we'll see how it works out here for good old Rexar's Reborn. I apologize, the overlay I actually didn't update it yet, so I'm doing that right now here while we are on this pause. But Fade was that final pick, as we saw there.
Yeah, definitely a hero that has some. I mean, I'm pretty sure when Fade was first introduced to the game, S2 at the time introduced her as the Tempest Killer because she would have this ulti that would allow her to roam the enemy jungle and put pressure on junglers. And I still think that holds true to some extent. If Fades get a good time, she might find some kills on Tempest. But in later on team fights, she is going to be scouting out the Behe and making sure that he doesn't get a huge initiation off. That's what so Fade is definitely she's going to be playing a big role in the later team fights. And if she gets a good start in this game, she might be able to just dominate Clanks without him even being like an early codex on Fade could definitely shut down Clanks
Hmm.
entirely. And
Yeah.
then we have CD. I like Corrupted Disciple is one of those heroes that's been. He's usually I would consider him a counter carry, a carry you pick to counter the opponent's carry in some form or size. Like if the opponent has Predator, you pick CD, and when Predator jumps you, you put the conduit on him, and all of a sudden Predator doesn't kill stuff. But Clanks has a lot of mobility, so
Yeah.
I feel like Clanks is just gonna fly out of that conduit, um, given
Yeah.
a chance.
It's safe to say that the corrupted pick wasn't necessarily one to deal with the Clanks. I mean, they're relying on others, specifically that Fade as you're getting at here for their side. But yeah, corrupted disciple, I definitely see him more as one if you want to group up and start and make team fights. You know, the pushes happen earlier on. Obviously, he's great for that, and this is a team
Mm,
makeup that definitely could accomplish that. But then also the idea of an anti-melee carry, especially as far as going up against range carries, though. Again, that's where that conduit does come a little bit funky because with the range carry, they're already going to be at a distance, ideally, and wanting to keep that distance. So, and Clanks, of course, is arguably one of the best ones at that, with that Hawk ability. So, yeah,
definitely.
Conduit not going to really be the most powerful tool here, which is the argument of whether or not it was the best pickup. But what's done is done, and they're going to have to
He
make it
also
work
has
here.
a longer range by default. The Clanks. He's
Yeah,
sitting at 550, and CD is 400s. I'm gonna check it real quick.
475 here, yeah.
475, yeah. So Clanks definitely had some range on CD as well, just on that take. But they are not. I mean, they CD deals semantic damage, and I think they're gonna be largely playing on the fact that they have more damage than the other team early on. We've seen Vexors before. They play a very aggressive style of Han, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them just roam in and use his Electric Tide on CD to,
Hmm.
get that extra damage in and get some kills.
All right.
And yeah, the
You
strat for the other team, of course, is to just. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask if you knew as well, because Fine obviously Fine's a player that's been around for a bit. Has he always been on Myst here recently, or
No,
did he just join them? Okay.
a player called the Forgotten One used to play the
Ah,
support role. But he had to quit Han due to personal issues. I actually I know Myst on a personal level, and he had to quit because of personal reasons.
okay.
And Callum decided that to step down from the jungle role and into the support role, and then they asked Fine to join them because Fine is a fine jungler.
It's always
Yeah,
love casting
no,
this player. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what happened. He's a new recruit.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, he's a very solid jungler. I mean, I definitely recall, seeing him for the parasites and tempests here and that jungler. So, good pickup for them, I feel, as far as
Yeah,
Mr. Gang is
definitely.
here.
I
See
mean,
how it
they're
works
looking for a
out.
player with like this is a kind of inexperienced team, and they just picked up a veteran that could help them with calls and just general playing as a team.
Hmm.
That I really like. I really like the idea of picking up Fine here.
Yeah. All right, so as far as the beginning of this game, very interesting lanes coming out here, I feel, especially this bottom one. Corrupted Disciple currently is at the bottom by himself, even. Uh,
Yeah, he gets countered somewhat by Bubbles and Bubbles' ability to take cover the electric tide. And they figured Bubbles was gonna be, suicide because Clanks is always in the short lane. But Myst kind of foresaw that and decided to lane Bubbles in the short lane. And now CD is actually laning in a really unfortunate lane against the Bubbles in the long lane.
yeah. This is not usual. I mean, if anything, you maybe expect like an aggressive dual lane, but yeah, Corrupted being solo down here now. As far as adjustments here from this Hellborn team, you see at the
Uh-oh,
top
top
lane,
lane,
actually,
top lane.
Andrew and Fade going in. They're going to find a Luna right here. This should be a Bloodlust kill. I don't see a Luna escaping out of this one. She's just way too deep in here. Down she goes, and Bloodlust kill in favor of the Hellborn team. So that's I mean, that's another thing to look at, though. I mean, as much as so they wanted to match up the Bubbles against Corrupted, probably, but at the same time, they're sending an aggressive duel lane themselves against what essentially was a tri lane, as we saw here,
Yep.
and they get bloodlusted. So, not the best.
I feel like maybe what Rexers decided to was sack CD a little bit, send him suicide on the off. Yeah, it like this strat would have been so awful against the Bubbles in the top lane. That would have been a tri lane versus a Bubbles. So Rexers must have known that Bubbles was going to be in Bubbles wasn't going to be there. So yeah, I think actually Rexers are the one that to come out on top of this lane rotation. Because they somehow knew they must have checked some replay or just had a hunch
Yeah.
that Bubbles was not going to be in the top lane.
So safe to say, working out for them pretty damn well off the bat. And
Yeah,
now Fady, he's able to pick up the early boots, and he heads all the way to the bottom lane, as we see here. So he's going to kind of play the support Fade here for this Corrupted at the bottom side. Now I wonder, how effective this really is going to be. I mean, Bubbles doesn't seem like a hero they're going to be able to kill necessarily or box
no.
out. So
Oh, she's swapping up his lane as well.
yeah, not going to really work out. Okay, so the Legion side, they are swapping up. You got Clanks coming to the bottom now, figuring, okay, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and send Clanks bottom. But, he is under level now, and Corrupted's definitely a hero in the lane. I mean, we talked about the conduit, maybe not great against Clanks for the eventual, but early on here, I mean, it is obviously great for just boxing out in general.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like CD will be able to pick up his boots before Clanks, and that could definitely give him a lot of box potential. Although he is against somewhat of a Soda Trial in here.
Yeah.
It's Tempest though, so it's not the strongest Soda Trial you could think of, but it's still a Tempest Trial here and there that could definitely put some hurt on you. They're going bottom.
Yeah, I mean, a jungler with the stun is always going to be at least somewhat fearful. Meanwhile, bottom lane, you got Clanks is like, well, I want to kill these creeps, but he would have to compete against 3 enemies, so not worth trying for it, really. And has to fall back. So talk about Rexars really adjusting accordingly here. I mean, they sent Andromeda even down here, so now it's once again the tri lane versus this Aluna Clank. So it's almost as if they're outplaying them as far as maneuvering here goes.
Definitely, this is Rexers dominating. They just decided, like when you're in a position where you can just swap your supports to the core of the lane, and like make a new tri lane with the new core, and still win. That's when your cores are going to be farming consistently, while they had to swap Bubbles and they had to swap Clanks, and that's a lot of farm time where they're not gonna get anything simply. And yeah, so Rexer's definitely coming out on top here in the early laning phase.
Yeah.
Top lane.
Top lane Bubbles, Half-Life. He's going to be boxed all the way to the tower. We'll pop the health potion, but Magnus obviously has had a pretty good start here, and he's definitely working off of it. Has that advantage now against Bubbles. I mean, in a true 1 versus 1, I would think Bubbles could do a little bit better, but he came here at a disadvantage already, so it's understandable.
Very nice board here on the bottom lane, spotting both the supports rotating towards the mid lane, but Cookie's not reacting in time.
Oh no, that's the worst, especially when you have the vision and you don't react fast enough. You're right. And just as you're complimenting the ward that should have seen that roam coming over, he did not react in time, and that's the worst. I mean, what's the point of the ward then if you're not going to run away?
Yeah.
So
It's actually that you took away that ward's function. That it has one job and it did it, but you did not. Yeah. Use it. And so the Trilon actually still. Alright. they're moving towards bottom again. Basically, they're just securing CD to have free farm because they have like Fade and Andrew. They're absolutely the strongest two supporting cast in this game. And Clank's got to be if he gets caught here by the stun from Andrew, he's dead.
Yeah, you see, he kind of knows that. I mean, he's keeping his distance and will fall back as soon as Andromeda plays
In
a
the
little
jungle?
more extra aggressive. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Hellbringer, Malphus comes down. He's going to run into eventually 3 heroes, though. I know Malphus is strong, but I don't know if he's that strong. And eventually will get taken out. So Hellbringer getting a little curious there. Kind of wonder even what his intentions ultimately were. The middle lanes, I mean, they're just open right now. So I don't know if he's coming to set up a kill or what, but didn't work out.
Would have been really awesome if the Trilane had been there. They would have been able to just swipe them up, but there's definitely some breach in communication, making Hellbringer find himself against 3 people bot lane.
Yeah, Strider's in from Fade. He's going to hit that Burning Shadows. This should be a kill on Column. He's only level 3. Not much he can do. He will pop the health potion. And no, I almost want to say he would have been better off just dying, because now he gives the kill to Corrupted because he lived a little bit longer there in the end. Yep. So can't fault him for wanting to live, but
I mean, he tried his best, but in the end, he should have, like, it's the same. If you're near dying and you TP out, and there's really no chance of your TP succeeding, maybe you should not use your TP and waste cooldown and whatnot. So you could definitely argue that he should just have kept his regen.
Well, Corrupted Disciple will gladly take that, though, and 350 gold per minute just about looking good. And hell, the Hellborn team, 3 top heroes all belong on their side, including that Hellbringer who had that little bit of the misplay there, kind of backfired for him, but he's still farming pretty comfortably. And I mean, this is just not going at all for this Legion side on the other side of the spectrum. Meanwhile, Tempest Ultimate will catch 2. Here comes Clanks with the Goon Squad. Not a Goon Squad, just a lackey, in fact. And Just Man on Bubbles helps to clean up, gets the double tap. Talk about a huge ultimate at a necessary time right here to start maybe turning some things at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's really nice. And he wasn't even level 6. That's what really surprises me, is that Bubbles already making waves here without his ulti.
Yeah.
Usually you see Bubbles, Bubbles players start rotating around when they get level 6, because that's when their ganking potential really rises. But yeah, Jistman just finding himself in there at the right time, at the right place.
I was just about to say, I mean, Tempest is going to need to really come through here because it's just across the board it's not looking good. In fact, he's a top farmer. Now, obviously a big ultimate there, gets 2 kills for the team on Bubble specifically, but man, even after that double tap, now middle lane, they're going to catch Hellbringer right here. Malphus is still not off cooldown, and he'll go down, so that goes back to that from earlier. Meanwhile, Eruption coming out, wants to get the Scuttle Bubbles. Nice stop from Behemoth, running in the face of an Eruption. Only to just stop it right there. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Andromeda and Fade roaming, but this is going to backfire for them again. They're trying to fall back now. Andromeda too late. Fade's like, well, I got to kind of hold my ground. Not so much. And he will go down as well. So 8 minutes in, they're feeding kill after kill. And all of a sudden, again, this Legion side of Mystery King, they're getting somewhat comfortable now.
Yeah, definitely. That's, I mean, I kind of want to, if, play the blame game here, say, Rexers, they did misplace themselves by quite a bit. Hellbringer was killed in a 2v1 in mid lane that he shouldn't have been killed in, and then the 2 supports got caught as well. Turning around saying that Myst was doing great of a positioning themselves to get these pickups, that's definitely a valid option as well. But at this point in the mid lane,
yeah, I caught that. Malphus used and set up the kill.
Yeah. So my point was, at this point in the game, Rexors are really the guys that should be, holding the steering wheel here, deciding where it's going. So when they make mistakes, that's their mistake, as much as a little bit more even than it's Myst just playing well.
Yeah, fair. And look at Magnus here, 17, nearly 1,800 gold really saved up now. I mean, 450 gold per minute, and 9 minutes in, that will do it. He's got plenty of build-up. He went to Steam Boots, has the bottle here. Fade is going to run into Tempest, so is Andromeda, though. But Tempest, okay, now with Corrupted here in Hellbringer, yeah, he will go down. I mean, it seemed like initially he could have made a play, but all of a sudden 4 ultimately collapse on him, and so not so much. So good stopping him. Again, Fine's been having a pretty high impact here for this team early on, but at least slowing him down somewhat here. And
let's see, Luna, she's in a risky position here. She should scout them before they get too close, though.
Yeah. Hopefully. Okay, yeah, gonna be fine. They will fall back. But yeah, both Andro and Fade already have their Striders here. In fact, Fade even has that Grave Locket now on top of that, so she is not. She's only level 4, in fact. Wow. Fade's going to make a point. He's not even level 6 yet, but hell, only level 4. The lowest level in the game, actually, at this point.
Yeah.
So kind of could use some levels on her.
Definitely a strong hero to get levels on, but that's usually Aluna.
Well, this could help get at least one level with a kill right here onto Aluna. There we go. Still remains level 4, actually. Too much nearby, but still. Good kill.
Magnus Invis. He's got his eyes on Clanks here.
This early movement is clearly paying off big time for Rexars. I mean, it's just keeping Mystery King in check completely. And yeah, it's safe to say this laning phase has just not worked out at all. And I mean, were they just outmatched, do you think? I mean, the lanes here, or is a lot of this play?
It's a little bit of both. They have a very passive lineup with a Tempest, a Clanks, and a Bubbles. Those heroes don't really like do well in the early, like before they get their ultis. And even then, Tempest is still gonna need like a pole K usually to really get in there. So it's kind of just Rexers playing to their strengths and mid lane.
Gonna go? Oh yeah, flanking on Magnus. No, he's not gonna stun it in.
Interesting.
Yeah, and maybe he felt like there wasn't too much support nearby.
No, they didn't have Hellbringer ulti up. Hellbringer was like, no guys, don't go. 10 seconds, 10 seconds from my ulti. But that was the window. That was the window they had to actually go there. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Choose not to. Oh,
but
push top.
Yeah, I mean, by any means, Myst game is not out of this game at all. They just like Rexers are playing to their strengths, and if they can keep it up, they can win the game. But if they fail, this Tempest is gonna punish them together with the Bihi and the Clangs, of course. So they gotta straighten up and make sure they don't make mistakes on Rexler's side. They have a lot of pressure on them, and the time is ticking.
Tempest alone, and you throw a Behemoth on top of that, and Bubbles even. I mean, they got the Wombo combo. So, yeah, whenever a team has that that presence here, again, especially just Tempest simply alone usually, you're never too confident, I feel like, this early on in the game at least. So 12 minutes in, I mean, sure, it's a decent lead as another tower push goes down. Corrupted's farming now 450 gold per minute. He actually chooses to go the Firebrand here, so Corrupted's one of those really interesting carries. He definitely can go a lot of different options, I feel like, but he's choosing to go more of the right-click presence here with that Firebrand at least. Middle lane Behemoth, by the way, going to get caught. And this should be a kill, maybe. I mean, okay, yeah, there's going to be enough damage with Hellbringer coming in to secure it. But Magma showing off his portal key too, by the way, there.
Yeah, he never really got a chance. Well, he never really took the chance to go in on something on Magnus. This looks like a team fight on top lane, though.
They're moving up here. They sure are. Tempest, uh-oh, he's like, oh, crap. Now they're coming. Magma stuns in onto a Luna. Tempest does have the Elemental Void. Kelpfield is up. There's the Kelpfield. Will they go for a follow-up here? The Elemental Void, it pulls in Magnus. Andromeda swaps him out, though. Well played. And his tanks any more damage coming in. Nice job with the take cover there of Bubbles. The combo. What is Tempest still doing here? He's spawning some elementals. He still wants to fight this. But his teammates not so much. He's going to go down, actually. They will get the Chronic Kill on the Fade, though. Magma's sitting in the invis. Nice job with the red board. But now Corrupted Disciples here. Down goes Bubbles. Malphus, kind of unnecessary. Didn't even hit a Luna, actually. And so she's going to keep running right here. Behemoth coming in with a Shockwave. Going for the turn. He got stunned, though, as he ran in. He's not able to combo with a Fissure. And a double tap from Mewtwo to end it. This is possibly going to be a hat trick. In fact, it's guaranteed. Going to be a hat trick. Savage 6 streak. For Corrupted Disciple. Well, it started out okay. It ended horribly for the Legion side.
Yep. I mean, it felt like they were going in one by one as well. It was like all of a sudden Fine decides to keep fighting, and his team is not really on board with that. And that was, I say they should have gotten out. And of course that's Captain Hindsight speaking, but even from like a strategy point of view, they should not be fighting yet. They're not strong enough, and Rexers still have a lot of really valuable spells that has low cooldown, like the Magma stun, like the Andrew stun, like the Fade Cole and her stun. You should not be fighting this.
Yeah. It's almost like they felt like that they were starting to fall behind this, so they felt forced to try to make fights happen. But yeah, on paper it does seem like being a little bit patient here and trying to just get those defensive wards up and trying to find the farm, get the portal key on Behemoth, get Clanks a little bit of room here. and then be able to land a wombo combo with the team fight if it calls for it. But yeah, do not force the action, and that's kind of what they did right there, definitely, at that top lane. So, well, they're feeling the consequences of that, definitely. It puts them further behind now. I will say KNX was just farming up the bottom lane during that, but as I say that and I look at the GPM chart, not really. 260 gold per minute here for Ganondorf, so he's still not able to get a lot of farm here at this time.
Yeah, his team is not able to create space for him because they keep getting picked off, and that just means that Fade is getting dangerous, and basically just one guy will be able to lock KNX out of farming from the lane, where KNX should be in a position where he could be farming against a solo CD, but at this point he can't. He's too far behind.
Yeah.
And they're gonna need a miracle to come back into this game. Actually, they're gonna need Rexers to give them a miracle in order to come back into this game.
Which
almost.
I will say, it's actually Andromeda off to the side here, going to get caught by Bubbles. Andromeda's somewhat tanky at this point. He's building an Astrolabe even, and actually, he's going to die in the end, but it took a lot longer than it should have here. So good find from Justman. But we have seen some throws here in these relegation matches to an extent, including, honestly, in this last one that we saw of Revolution versus Polymorph. Unfortunately, on the side of Polymorph, that game 2, they were up by a bit, and, they came up short of the end. And got to say, a lot of it was because of their decision-making and whatnot. So we'll see if that's the case here in this game number 1. But it seems like Rexars is in a very comfortable spot, and, again, their plan is good enough to try to secure a victory. Now, the gold lead, this isn't overwhelming, though. I mean, it's a 6,400 gold lead. We've seen worse. At the 1,700 experience lead, obviously that's really not much at all at this point in the game. So I still go back to Mystery Gang. I mean, there's still definitely positives here, but
yeah,
a lot going there.
I mean, as soon as Hellbringer is sitting on that restoration stone, you can still make a turn if you play it right. But it gets exponentially harder when he gets the double Malphus to throw at you.
Yeah.
That's when it gets really hard.
Fade. I wonder what he's going for here. He has a Neophyte's book. Could be many options, of course. What would you figure Fade goes for here?
I think it's a tablet, personally. He could go for something like trolleys like a Codex, but I think it's a tablet he's working on. A tablet's generally pretty good against this lineup he's facing. Being able to cancel Tempest ulti, even like if Andrew for some reason and Hellbringer both have used their stuff. Yeah, it could also be Puzzle Box. He has 3 options in my mind. It's either Puzzle Box, Tablet, or Codex. And of those 2, I think Tablet. Of those, sorry, top lane.
That's a huge kill. They take out, because that's not only a kill on their carry, but that stops a Savage 6 streak. And that's 755 bonus gold for Behemoth, who just got his portal key. So
he doesn't have he didn't have a TP, but Fade gave up. If Fade had ran up there, he would have been spotted. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes you gotta be persistent, and then you'll be rewarded with a kill, and other times, like, people just deem it not worth it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and in this case, that would have been a very dead B. He's still up there. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, I don't see any courier flying out to him, so I'm not sure what the plan is here. He bought something, though. He had nearly 1,000 gold right here, so he's just going to walk out. He's going to play it that way, and he's going to stomp in, actually. He's going to set up a kill on a Fade, so not only does he not pour it out, and it didn't spot him initially, but it ends up backfiring on a Fade, who got a little comfortable in the lane. And she goes down. So this is where it starts as far as coming back for Mystery Gang, and it's real. I mean, KNX does have the Thunderclaw now. Obviously, the portal key on Behemoth has already had immense impact here of setting up 2 kills, essentially. One very important one to Corrupted Disciple. There's fight here in Mystery Gang, and that's good to see.
Definitely. They're not out, but I would be worried if I were them about this CD almost finishing up. He has this shrunken head, in fact.
Wow.
He's scary at this point.
Yeah.
Even if KNX get a shrunken head, CD will still be able to run down KNX, at least force him out of the fight. Just with just CD's presence, he hits much harder than KNX, where KNX relies on the magic damage from his ulti and Thunderclaw. CD just relies on his auto attack.
What do you think of Magnus, by the way? It looks like he buys a Mighty Blade here. I would have to assume that's going to be a Shrunken Head here
Mm.
to follow. I always find it odd to see a Shrunken Head on a Magnus kind of hero.
Yeah, it's. I mean, on Pebbles, it's justified because Pebbles actually deals a lot of damage with the auto attack. But Magma's Shrunken Head is like really old school. Back when I don't know.
Team
It's just really
5,
old. Yeah,
ERP.
it's yeah, pretty much back then where like B-Kid would run around and carry his team with Magnus. Like that's some really old stuff right there. It is gonna secure Magma's survival in team fights as long as he doesn't get initiated on. So he can jump in and get an ulti off almost with 100% certainty, unless Tempest want to hold him for that, which would like all of a sudden Hellbringer's ulti is not locked out waiting for the Tempest hold. So I think it's okay, but usually you want to see something else in Magmas. Usually you want to see a tablet or
Yeah.
something else.
It's that mentality. It's obviously the always you go to is what could he get instead? That's 3,900 gold on that item. So you figure there's other Storm Spirit tablets, things like that, plus more. But for me, it's like by those kind of heroes, I mean the Behemoth, another example, because I feel like they're that up front. Magnus in his case, he channels the eruption, he goes and he stuns, he's done his job essentially in these fights. So for him to then pop a Shrunken Head after that and walk around auto attacking, it's like okay. I mean, yes, there is value to that with the volcanic touch, and he could definitely put out some decent damage, but is that better than these more utility supportish items? And I mean, I personally, it just doesn't feel like it is to me. But we are going to see him make a play right here. Stun on a Justman on the Bubbles. Bubbles holding his ground, though. He is going to try to get away now. Shell Surf was used already, but he's going to take cover Portal Key, and he will survive. Great getaway.
The swap was like the animation of the swap was out, but it didn't go through. That would have been a very dead Bubbles.
Yeah.
But good getaway.
That's big because a lot of TPs happen there, so
Yep.
in fact, you're able to live.
But yeah, basically this Shrunken is going to allow Magnus to jump into a fight, stun someone, and just stand in the middle of the fight and channel his ulti, and don't give a damn about anyone.
Yeah.
Which
That's fair.
there's definitely some validity to that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, that is true. It does open up that door at least, where you can kind of go in first and then channel the ultimate. You're right. So we'll see if that comes into play for him here. Now they're going to push that top tower in with no defense put up. Then the Legion team still wants. In fact, something's coming to Tempest. Wonder what that's going to be. Did he go like a portal key here or something else?
I don't know. The problem with Tempest is he's facing 3 superior cancels, 2 superior cancels, sorry, but also a Fate that's going to be ready as long as he doesn't have a Shrunken Head. So the Polki, you almost have to go that Polki in order to get in a position to even have a full duration ulti, but it's still super unlikely that he will get off a good ulti in this game. There's so much Tempest cancel.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He needs to get a Shrunken Head. He needs to get yeah, what's it called? Nullstone? Yeah, Nullstone, Shrunken Head, Polo Key. Those are definitely all items on his list, and maybe even a Restoration Stone before Tempest can really do his thing.
Oh, wow, Behemoth really trying right there. Unfortunately, he did kind of miss, though, and now he's dead. The rest of the team didn't follow up, and that was good on their part because it was a failed initiation, definitely. But that's a huge mistake, as now they're going to chase further. Now, these are just delusions, obviously. I mean, you just killed Behemoth, so...
What was Fate? Yeah, it's like, you just killed B, Fate. It's like, there's very little chance that's a real B.
Yeah, a quick buyback and post-haste in, and yeah, no, that didn't happen, so... well, it's not a big deal, obviously. They were already running anyway, so... Kongor, however, is not going to... So this is setting up all of this. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the really big goal there was for Behemoth. He thought he had an opening on a Hellbringer, which he kind of did. It's just a matter of hitting it, which he didn't, unfortunately, so... that was a mistake. And look at Hellbringer, by the way. Not only does he survive there, but that's a restoration stone. At 24 minutes, wow.
Yeah, that is scary. He just needs to make sure that he gets it off, and the fight is pretty much like he has an ulti to spare. He doesn't have to save up his ulti to deal with Tempest. He can use one ulti to mess with the rest of the team, and then save one for when Tempest decides to jump in. and now they have 3 superior cancels,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's brutal.
yeah, it's looking really hard. They can still make a mistake, of course, and Myst can catch like both Andro and Hellbringer in an ulti, and hopefully none of the other will stun him. But it's gonna take a lot of luck. I wanna say
Yeah.
in order for them to really bounce back into this game. Clanks is not looking that hot.
Well, he just got a shrunken head at least, so there you go. He's going to purchase as he comes back to base. So if a fight does break out here, the shrunken can definitely do a lot of work here. However, don't know if they're going to really defend the secondary tower. Well, maybe.
I think they're looking
Behemoth.
for an option here.
Yeah.
They want to see if they. Oh, Fate is scouting them good though. But yeah, Hellbringer's double ulti will be up now, and if they go on CD here, they're done.
Oh, that's so tempting, though. It is, and he's tanking the tower. I mean, he has a token, but it's like, we got a chance. But yeah, good patience by them, because if you force a fight with a token corrupted there, that could backfire big time. So they do push the bottom tower, and they even save the middle tower. It's actually in deny range. They really wanted to here.
Yep. Oh, Clanks. Oh, that's just a warning shot.
Oh, there's
Never
the first
mind.
Malphus, though, so they have one to spam. But look at Behemoth and catches 2 in the background, including Hellbringer, Fate, getting both go down. Corrupted the sideball with the shrunken head. You know, this is pre-token, remember. He's not able to get the kill initially. Magnus missed the stun as well as the tower is denied, and now Magnus trying to TP out with that shrunken head. He is going to be successful. Wow, he was down to like 10 life or so, and he manages to escape, but that was a definite one fight for Mystery Gang. Nobody died. They deny the tower, and they get 2 kills out of it.
Yep. I mean that's exactly what they were hoping for. Magnus failed his initiation a lot of times. CD never really got in there, and the Hellbringer ulti did nothing. You don't want to initiate with the Hellbringer ulti. You want to use that as counter initiation. And they initiated with the Hellbringer ulti while no one was really ready to follow up on it. So yeah, and Hellbringer got killed before he used his second ultimate. He did a really nice job of jumping him and just shutting him down. And that's what I was saying. If he gets to use both of his ultis, there's very low chance of them losing a fight. But he made sure that didn't happen.
That was huge from Behemoth. He definitely made up for that bottom miss right there. He comes through this time around. But yeah, you're right though about Hellbringer. It's definitely being on a little bit of a different page than his teammates. Meanwhile, bottom lane down here, by the way, they're trying to make a play onto Andromeda. She already used her Comet Stun. However, it's going to be fine in the end. They try to also catch Magnus, who then portal keys away. So a couple of slippery heroes coming out right here. And everyone going to be fine. But, yeah, Hellbringer, he had the range with that ultimate. Did not have the immediate follow-up, though. And clearly that's where it did not
CD.
work out. Is CD? Oh, yeah, he's an assassin trap. He's going to open. You know, he's somewhat by himself. He is going to get the kill onto a Luna.
Weak ducket.
And he popped a shrunken,
silly.
too.
Yeah, that was... I mean, he had to pop the Shrunken. It's just a matter of getting the right target. Eluna was not the right target. He should have gone for Tempest or Behe. He had both options available. He decided to kind of... Like, maybe the TMM instinct kicks in and you're like, alright, I can get this kill and get out. But in this scenario, it was that they needed to get a more valuable kill for the Shrunken Head. Because they can't use their Luna kill to anything. They can't push in with that.
Token going to be wearing off, yeah, 45 seconds, so ultimately not going to be able to make the most effective of it. I mean, they try definitely, but obviously because of some pretty good play overall from Mystery Gang, they weren't able to break through. So, man, Clanks, talk about a hero that got nothing in this early game. That's what the big worrisome thing was, if anything, because especially how the lineup is built around this Clanks. Yet he's now at 400 gold per minute, and it looks like he's just getting bigger and better. The team has obviously come through in that sense. He's going to buy the Firebrand right here now to start enhancing the damage. I mean, he really was kind of forced to go that Shrunken at first. So, Fade in the meantime, middle lane. Uh-oh, they're trying to set up a kill on a Clanks. Now there is backup nearby. Oh, he whiffs! He whiffs the stun! Oh, you cannot have these misplays. Hellbringer coming out with the Malphus. There's the jump though from Behemoth. And Andromeda going to swap and save Hellbringer. Ain't going to happen though. He goes down. Andromeda's also in trouble. She'll go down. Magma stuns it late. He does have that shrunken, so he's holding his ground now. Here comes Greth to the side plays on top of Clanks. Clanks, so he has to fight this. Conduit's up. He can't really. The elemental void though. But Clanks is doing no damage currently because of that conduit train. He has to fly out 14 to 16. Behemoth jumps in though. They catch Corrupted and he goes down without the token. This fight, huge win for Mystery Gang. What play by them to counter the misplays of Rexar's Reborn right here. Magnus will ultimately survive as he runs out. Something else I'm noticing here, Bubbles gets the nullfire play, by the way, in that fight, and that actually came into play a little bit. So, wow, what a fight, though.
I'm just taken away of how much they're failing on Hellborn's side. It's like, of course, Myst is really making sure not to play into the other team's strengths, and that's really great of them. But it's just like, it feels like they're just not fighting coordinated at all on the Hellborn side. Like, Hellbringer gets caught, he decides to use both his ultis to defend himself instead of, using it, like, they're in danger of losing this game by, like, a big margin. No surprise, they just lost two fights in a row.
It really is something how, obviously, we go back to, early in this game where they were in control here on Rexars, and, the biggest thing we're saying about Mystery Gang is, I mean, there's still a chance. They got the heroes for it, Tempest, the Wombo combo, the danger's there, but a bit of it is going to have to come down to misplays, no doubt, of Rexars. I mean, that's going to have to be part of it. Well, that happened to have been part of it here. So now all of a sudden we got Mystery Gang in actually you talk about just the mindset of them too right now. It's completely, I'm sure it's all positive. They're feeling good. And on the side of Rexars, they're feeling a little bit down. I mean, they just whiffed that fight completely. And now what Clanks is just climbing bigger and better, 430 gold per minute, another 2,000 gold saved up. So he's definitely going to be a major issue as these fights move along. But it's definitely been the behemoth, though, this Tempest. The supporting cast, Bubbles, they've been doing a fantastic job here of making the play so far. And Clanks' job is now to finish it off, essentially, in the end. Meanwhile, nice catch, speaking of behemoth, finds Fade.
Yeah, I mean, Callum.
Yeah, you might need a. Now they don't have Fade, so this would be a little bit of a risky jump here from the Hellborn side.
It really does come down to the fact that Clanks, that CD is not really like being filled as a carry either. It's like he has so much trouble catching Clanks in teamfights, running him down. He's not doing his job. He's not killing Clanks. But regardless, they should be winning the fights with just the Magnus. Magnus has been landing some not been landing the B-kit stuns. He's going for the save stuns, but I would like to see them try to focus down at a single hero and then move on to the next, because they have the ability to do that with the Magma stuns, with the CD, with the Hellbringer.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like very split fighting they decide to go for, and I'm a little bit against that.
Yeah, I really do. I'm not going to say the Shrunken Head pickup on Magnus has really not done a whole lot for him, because again, we even saw in a fight, I mean, it kept him alive to port out in time too. So, but it's just not. I just feel like it's off though, and maybe it wouldn't have made a difference. But that's one thing that at least is coming back to me too, as well as a couple of misplays here. That's definitely hurting this Hellborn team. We do see he has a Blessed Orb, so he is trying to get a Sheep Stick now next, which of course.
Tempest
is going to be great.
Oh, Tempest is so much trouble.
Yes, he is. Magnus hits a stun, Fade follow-up. As long as they don't hit any more misses here, there we go. And down goes Fine.
I think it also comes down to Myst being in a really, they have really good positioning skills. So Magnus is having a hard time top lane.
Oh, can he get away? No, the double tablet! Speaking of supportish items, now Luna's like, well, that backfired, but they're going to go back and Behemoth will die. I kind of wonder if they even need a Behemoth to do that, but just to quickly get the kill, as you do see the support coming in, so a 2-for-1 in favor of the Hellborn team, but they definitely got the better hero on Mystery Gang. Oh my gosh, they're going to spot Bubbles. Yeah, he's in trouble. He gets swapped. Now, is that the best, actually? I don't know. In fact, Clanks is still around. He pops a Shrunken, and Fade is going to fall right here. No, he does survive, actually.
What are you doing,
barely lives, as Magnus is like, I don't want to fight this anymore. He TP's out and leaves his teammates to fall, unfortunately. So Fade goes down Andromeda. Okay, she's going to stun. She does have Hellbringer coming. Here comes Malphite, so maybe Clanks is the one that needed to second guess himself. He will actually go down. As, yeah, he got a little too curious chasing down the Andromeda. Meanwhile,
Oh,
okay. Callum hits the snipe. Nice job.
okay. Magnus just said, I actually don't want this Bubbles kill. I don't feel like killing Bubbles today. I'm gonna pour it out instead. He could have easily killed Bubbles and poured it out. But fair enough. I mean it's looking good. It's looking okay for Myst. If they can keep playing like this, they definitely have a really good shot at taking the game. Let's see, but yeah, okay, that's the Genjuro though. That will help CD chase down Clanks even through the shrunken head. So that might change up things here. And Magnus just bought something. Could it be a full sheepstick already?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure it is, because they did have a bit of gold last time I checked.
That's gonna be a very big deal as well.
Oh, gonna catch a Luna here. Now he doesn't have the sheepstick on him just yet, but it doesn't matter there. The Genjiro corrupted, a little too good anyways, and gets the chase. Now they're gonna go for Kagura, so Luna's dead, but obviously that's not the most prime target.
They saw Bubbles there on the board. But yeah, okay.
That was scary for Bubbles there. If he kind of checked it out a little more, could have been caught, but Fade hanging around, but not going in just yet. I mean, they probably know, they definitely know, in fact, they have a word of sight here that Congress happening, but don't really know if they can go, though.
They don't want to, at least. They definitely don't want to. He was thinking about it going in with the Veil Rod, but they decided it's not worth it. They're going to be sitting waiting out. They're going to be waiting for the base bridge to come, and that's when they're going to make their stand. And I think that's a wise decision as well.
So there's the token number 2 at least on Corrupted Disciple here, so good for the Hellborn side to make a play. Clanks in the meantime, back to the top lane now, as that Geo's being finished. Going to use it right here, in fact. Wingbow, you think, next for Clanks? Probably be a good choice here.
Yeah, I would definitely... Yeah, it's going to give him the extra range to deal with CD as well.
Yeah.
He could go for Frostwolf Skull to slow down CD. That could be viable as well, but yeah, I actually like Frostwolf more than Wingbow at this point, because it's really not a lot of auto attack damage he's going to be taking from anyone else than CD. He's going to be taking a lot of damage from magic damage.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I like Wingbow. Sorry, Frostwolf better. And Fade is scouting.
Yep, that bound eye was huge. It's going to see Behemoth, of course, and he doesn't stand a chance. Well played there by Fade. Bound eye on Fade is always been a very powerful combination. And see one of the reasons right there. I mean, this isn't necessarily an Invis team here on the Legion side, but just so happened to have an Invis rune, so he felt comfortable about scouting.
Yep.
Which he wasn't.
They do have a buyback on PE, so it's not the end of the world, but they got to be careful with those kind of pickoffs at this stage in the game. If one guy is missing, that could definitely mean max.
Fade is thinking about where to go. They check the Ancients just a little bit late, though. The Ward of Sight will block the next spawns, however. So they at least got that going for them, but now they're making a move towards the bottom. Corrupted Disciple again has that Genjiro up. Running all the way down here. He's going to find Clanks, actually. Uh-oh. He can't stop him.
No.
Yeah. Nice TP out with the supports coming. That would have been a dead Clank, so manages to get out of time.
That Clank, yeah, well, it was a good port out from Canada as well. He could have even popped the strong head if he felt that, the need to. Not that it would have mattered an awful lot, because he wouldn't have been able to react to the Magnus porting in with a sheepstick, or the Hellbringer and Andro shrubs. But he went for it and he went through with it. And Bubbles is actually he might be in trouble top.
Yeah, he's definitely in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, he gets in the woods, though, so that will stall them a little bit as Clanks flies in. There's a Shrunken pop from Magnus. He can't secure the kill. He finally will, but Faye does die in the end. Magnus is going to be able to TP out at least. Bound eye drops, by the way. Yeah, you see Clanks just kills the other one. Okay.
All right, I actually almost want to say that is in favor of Myst.
Oh, yeah.
They took away a Bound Eye that's 700 gold. That's more value than the Bubbles kill.
And they killed Fade with
Yeah,
Clinks.
exactly. I mean, Fate is the second support, and Bubbles is arguably more of a core than Fate is. But since they're not really using the kill on Bubbles to anything, it
Hmm.
doesn't really matter a whole lot.
Yeah, and Clink's getting that kill. Some more for it for him. Who, by the way, 4,500 gold. So that next tier, whether it's the Wing Bow or the Frostal Skull, are probably the two top choices here.
Mm.
It's going to be coming up here in the near future, depending on buyback situation, of course. I don't know what he wants with
Yeah,
that, but
I'm not sure why he's saving up that much. I would like him to, if he's going for the Frostwolf, he should be getting like a Blessed Orb or the Frostburn, the whatever it's called, the
the
slow part,
Ice Brand.
Ice Brand, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be getting that. Because right now he's just rip.
Fade's impact, man. It's
Yep.
obviously he's been doing this throughout this whole game, and sometimes it's come up short, but a lot of the times it's worked out pretty well. So that's just
There we
a
go.
matter of the hero.
He
What's
actually
up?
just bought it. He bought the Blessed Orb I was talking about. Happy to see that. And there we go.
No, he
And the
sold it. He
Ice
bought the
Brand.
Blood Sword, then he sold it, and then he bought an Ice Brand. Okay, so yeah, he was deciding what he wanted.
Yeah.
Right here.
Cannon Drove agrees with the Frostwolf.
Yeah, makes sense, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, he want to be tanky enough to survive the spells. And CD is almost dying there. That's a token. He's wasting a token here.
Well, it's 19 seconds, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
it was
that
very
makes
low.
sense.
But Legion team is not able to capitalize. I mean, Behemoth being dead, though, is a big reason for that. He does have a buyback, so they could have tried to make a play right there, but it's not worth it. They're not going to lose a tower in the time, most likely. In fact, the Helmer team will actually just fall back, so probably good that they didn't go on the Legion side here. Force them to fall back, essentially. You got Shrunken Head, by the way, on Hellbringer, too, now. I don't even know if we mentioned that, but...
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like an item that would save Hellbringer from the risk of getting killed before his second ulti pops, and that's definitely a strong head. So I like it. That's a smart pickup. He won't be killed by he jumping him this time around, because he's gonna have like effectively, like what, 19 seconds of magic immunity the next fight.
So 10 seconds right now? Yeah, it is, so, yep. If that's, if he staggers it like that, sure.
Yep. I mean, he should if. That's what I would suggest at least.
On paper, yes, I should, but when there's a lot going on, people tend to get antsy here, and
he might need the. No. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Mid lane.
oh, speaking of him, he needs to get it off here. He's not going to though. Obviously, I really didn't have a chance either. And meanwhile, Faye gets caught. He was trying to help his teammate. Tablet support is not going to be enough, most likely. You see that Nullifier Blade doing work from Bubbles as well. It's a level 2 now, by the way. And it's just purging mana on that Fade. So that's a little bit of extra benefit.
It annoys me what Andrew's doing. He is supposed to be the hero for this exact situation. Your teammate is caught out of position. Andrew comes in and saves the day by sacrificing yourself.
Yeah.
I have not seen this happen yet. It happens once, but that was not like he needs to be saving Hellbringer as well. Even Fate is more valuable than him. So I don't like that he's playing so conservative with his ulti. He should be saving heroes left and right.
Oh, Behemoth doing a pretty good job right here, catching Myst. He's going to go for the TP, though. They don't have a way to stop it. So, again, the Shrunken Head, in the sense of staying alive, it actually has proved to be pretty useful for Myst. That's definitely where it's coming to play for sure. I mean, only the one death, and a lot of it is to think that. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously the Legion team, though, coming out on top of the overall exchange and right there. Clanks does have the Frostal Skull. He did purchase it going into that fight, so he didn't have a buyback at that time, but of course it wasn't necessary with the way that played out there, so that's the good news at least. Post-haste now on Behemoth, by the way.
Yeah, that's I think that's because he's running into the problem of not having a lot of items. Usually post haste is not the right choice unless you really want to commit to something like split pushing. So I mean, that's 2K gold. That's almost that's 1/3 of the sheep stick. He could have gotten very close to the mid lane.
There's the opening for Corrupted, but he's in a bad spot. I was going to say, I don't know about this. The support for them wasn't nearby. Fade goes down, and Corrupted's in trouble. Can he actually survive? Magma's trying to help out in the background. The bangs are coming out, though. Corrupted, a Disciple will be picked off. All of that because they wanted to kill an Luna just outside the base. Obviously not worth it, and now Andromeda's also going to get caught. Mystery Gang, they're capitalizing when they need to. And another big fight for them. Clanks is just getting a little bit out of control now. Nearly 3,000 more gold saved up on top of this. So we were debating between the Wingbow and the Frosted Skull. Well, hell, at this point, he's going to have both here in the near future.
Yep. Yeah, they took a fight without Hellbringer and they got punished. That wasn't even a fight. That was like,
yeah,
let's go kill the support. Ish.
Yeah.
Oh, and Magnus misses his stun.
I don't know. How is that happening? I mean, I don't know how that's happening, to be honest.
He's done it several times. I think he might be lagging or something like that. He's not being having a.
You got. I'm sorry, but you got to click the targets at this point. Like, I know he was trying to maximize the efficiency, but if you whiff two stuns like that, you know, we've seen at least Tempest Elemental Boy's going to be coming out right here. Clanks is going to be saved and setting up the turn now. We see the Conduit, of course, doing some work. Corrupted Disciple able to survive for now. Will he survive in the end? It looks like, as he barely gets away. Clanks did get too committed, and he goes down. Behemoth as well. So the Legion team sticking around too long there, trying to finish off that Corrupted, and they do fall as they're pushing in. So the hold is successful, at least for the Hellborn team. It did require a buyback on Corrupted and Magnus, however. So obviously there is that to keep into consideration here. They're going to try to counter push, but Behemoth and Clanks both have buybacks at the worst case here. So this is not going to be an easy counter push, but they might as well try to force it out. If you're the Hellborn team, of course. No Hellbringer Malphus, though. They are both on cooldown.
They're gonna be in a lot of trouble if these two buy us back and they get caught. They do not want that to happen. They do not have Hellbringer ultis up.
Behemoth has a shockwave too. There comes the buyback. Kelfield comes out for bubbles, trying to keep them in place. He may die right here, but Behemoth, he's waiting for the spot. The Shrunken Heads, though, they're going to prevent him from really going in. Corrupted Disciple, he gets caught by the Fissure. They know he's nearby. That Genjiro's doing work for him. Magnus comes back in with the Eruption. Behemoth's still trying to find the opportunity. He needs that portal key. Clanks is barely alive, and it will survive. Unbelievable. Behemoth found his opportunity. He gets the kill on Corrupted. And Andromeda falls as well. Clanks living and Behemoth turning it as well. Unbelievable right there for the Legion. Now Magnus caught with the Nullfire Blade. He's trying to run. Stomp from Behemoth. A lot of damage from that. And Magnus is going to make the escape as he lava surges over the ledge. The fade, however, not the same. Clanks comes back in to help clean up at the end of it. I mean, these fights are getting so intense here. This is just the first game, remember, here in this relegation match. What a game we're having here so far. I mean, the Mystery Gang, the gold competition, we've yet to see a gold team get the diamond here now in Cycle 3. Mystery Gang trying to be the first, and it's been an intense game number 1.
Definitely.
Try to earn that spot.
Oh, and they're going to be attempting Conqueror.
This would be a third Conqueror, too.
Yep. 3 buybacks used on the Legion side and 2 used on Hellborn. But still, Rexars are not playing into their strengths at this point. They need to fight when they have Malphus up. If they don't have Malphus up, they could easily go and lose the fight. They actually won the fight up until BE hit an ulti on 3 people and killed CD. If they're close, Rexars are close to doing it right, but they're a little bit out of position here and there.
Yeah, and that's the biggest deal. I mean, the fact that they did get so close to doing that without Hellbringer having 1, let alone 2 ultimates, obviously really shows you just, again, the power of it. Even with the Nullfire Blade to kill them off right away, it's still that AoE, the superior stun that it does initially even, is so massive. So they really, picking fights, trying to push without that ultimate being up, it probably should be a no-no from here on out for this Hellborn team. They need to have that ready to go if they want to have a good chance. Wingbow is just finished on Clanks. Jeez.
He's going to be pretty hard to kill.
Yep, and he's hitting really hard.
Exactly. I mean, CD won't be able to just run him down anymore. Clanks will be able to just, alright, you want something, buddy? I'm going to turn on you. Oh, what is that?
Well, I caught somebody.
Fade?
That's a fade there, yeah. Magnus, oh, he was going to try to kill. This is all for an Aluna kill. I mean,
It's again, like, what are you guys doing? It's a Luna.
we killed Aluna, guys. Oh, we died now. That's just silly.
I'm not sure what Callum has done to these guys, but they're really after him this game.
Yeah. Yeah, in Callum's mind, he's like, you know what? Worth it. I don't care.
Yeah.
As a support, that's just fine. If they want to commit to killing you for trading a farmed behemoth, or a Magnus, excuse me. This is going to be Rax too. I mean, because of that kill, like, if Magnus is up right now, they're not doing this. But with him dead, especially, and no buyback, this is easy Rax for them. So, there we go. Easy Rax, top lane. Now, we do see bottom lane. Corrupted Disciple is making a counter push. He's trying to keep them distracted. You got Behemoth setting up. Uh-oh. Corrupted Disciple, if he doesn't pick up on this. I don't think he's going to. There's a jump chance. No, the Shrunken Head. It will actually sort of save him for now. As they do lose a tower, though, so
yeah,
got something out of it.
Fade is really careful with her positioning at this point. But if she can catch...
They're going to try right here. Behemoth, or Clanks, excuse me, gets caught by Malphus in the background. He quickly pops the Shrunken Head, trying to run. A second Malphus is good to go if he thinks he can get close enough. Clanks is still flying, though. Another Hawk coming up in 5 seconds. That Malphus alone is doing plenty of damage, though. It may actually kill... Oh, he turned it around! If he didn't turn it around...
I feel like he gave up, and then he was like, I actually want to try this anyway. And then Bubbles comes in and says, good night, Malphus.
Yeah, I don't know why you would even try to micro it in that point. Just simply click it on the hero and hopefully it chases down. But in the end, Clanks does live there. Manages to make the escape. So, well played, Magnus. By the way, I meant to say Demonic Breastplate on him, as he did die there. But still, that's definitely a good pickup for this Hellborn side. Corrupted Disciple, looks like he might be going his own Wingbow now with the Genjiro already picked up, of course, so.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I just feel like he needs to focus on being able to kill Clanks. That would mean the Savage Mace. At this point, they still haven't really brought down Clanks, in like, oh, what? Fate gets caught again.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bound Eye, Rev Ward, I mean, he's...
This time it wasn't for a Callum kill, but, I mean, still... Yeah, they already got Rax. I think this one is in the back here for Myst. They just they played better this game.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely. I feel like we have been saying more of like, what are they doing for the side of Rexars, and not a whole lot of that for this Legion team. So, as I say this, Klex is kind of charging in pretty YOLO right here. He is going to die at the token, of course, but that was a pretty much giving up. I didn't necessarily notice the time, but anyways, they're looking to follow now. Bubbles, Cutfield. Again, though, if you're the Legion side, now Clanks is exposed here. And they didn't use a whole lot to kill him, honestly. So there's the counter on him. Magnus, however, as he went in. He does get swapped out from Andromeda. There's that Sacrificial Lamb right there. Hellbringer with the Malphus coming out. Element of Void. There's the second Malphus. Corrupted Disciple plays fine for now, or is he? He's taking too much damage to lock down his real. Clanks is able to right-click, and Corrupted will fall. He does buy back. It is his final buyback here, trying to make a play. Stunning from Fade. Clanks gets caught. Corrupted's going to try to help chase. However, now Clanks pounding into Fade right here, and now Corrupted is forced to run out, actually. So, by the way, Behemoth did buy back and post-hastened back in as well. That's why he's back here. The melee Rax is going to be exposed. Will it be enough for the kill? One more out of attack. Clanks can't get it. He gets stunned here. Nice Storm Spirit to save it. They just need the Rax kill. At least doesn't even go for it.
There we go.
There we go. It finally does fall as Clanks will go down, pushing into the base here, but at least they got the melee Rax. And Clanks does have a final buyback if need be. So there are plenty of buybacks being used here as the Tier 4 tower actually goes down as well. Wasn't even realizing that during the fight. So, okay. I mean, Myst is definitely putting themselves, continuing to put themselves in a much better spot, though, because of everything now. I mean, no buybacks on Corrupted, of course, is a huge deal here.
For sure. I mean, yeah, if he gets focused down in just one fight, the other guys will have the option to just buy back and have the numbers on them. And I don't know, it seems like even the Hellbringer's ulti and his double sheepstick, they are still not winning. Clanks is just, they're too far ahead on the other side at this point. It really comes back to, like, they could have made all these mistakes and still have been doing fine if CD was not CD. I really feel like CD's wrath is not really felt this game. the whole chasing down of a Clanks is not really working for them.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Of course, coupled with the fact that Myst is playing incredibly well in team fights, Cookie is always finding a good initiation. I say always. He had that one mix up where he kind of went on nothing,
yeah.
but other than that, he's been playing really solid this game.
Yeah, the stat line, 8, 10, and 17. I mean, it's decent there. It's not the greatest, but yeah, I agree with you. If I did have to pick an MVP, I really think it would be Behemoth. He's had some clutch ultimates here, some nice Fisher blocks, and definitely been setting up as you would hope for with the Behemoth in these fights very well. You got 4,600 gold on Tempest, 4,400 on Clank, 6,400 on Bubbles. You gotta buy something here if you're just, man. I did actually notice that too. He had at least 5,000 pushing into the top lane right there in that previous fight, so gotta question that here, but
Tempest already has his post haste, so he doesn't. He should be spending his money just so he has enough for one buyback. He even had that. He has that one slot available, so he should definitely put a sheep stick in there, or maybe even buy the nullstone if he feels like that's necessary. I think Hellbringer is going to be canceling his ulti, so maybe just get the sheep stick or the blessed orb.
yeah.
Spend some of his money, make him more tanky. That's what I would do in this situation. Clanks could just, sell his steam boots or split them up and build post haste. Then if he needs to buy back, he can buy back and put in.
Yeah.
Right now he's going to be spending a lot of time like buybacking, splitting up his boots, then TPing in instead of, just, buybacking and TPing in immediately.
Doing it now, yeah. Hellbringer spends his gold there, and he actually buys a portal key, so he's trying to get a little bit better positioning in these fights in terms of being able to jump in, so not the worst item choice.
No,
Definitely solid impact. That with the sheep stick, of course, always a good combo to have. Wingbow's finished on Corrupted. Obviously, he's had a buyback, so his gold doesn't matter at this point. Spending it when he can, and buys a Wingbow.
Clank's rebot is shrunken. I really like that as well. That's
yeah.
definitely an option that you sometimes don't think about, but when you've used your shrunken head like 5 or 6 times, it's getting low on charges. So you might just want to rebuy it, and that's exactly what Cannon Drove did, and I like that. That was definitely a good call there.
Yeah, he's got the bananas to use here just in case. I gotta say though, if they pick a fight right here with 6,600 gold on Bubbles, I don't know, man. I mean, we're not really calling them out a whole lot, but you can't do this. You cannot be pushing a base with 6,600 gold on your Bubbles.
He can right-click any item in the game, and he can just get it. What are you doing?
This is just, it doesn't make any sense. There is no logic here. But just, man, I don't know if he's just not paying attention or what, but, well.
I mean, he only has one buyback. He cannot spend more than 2.2k or something like that on the buyback. He still has 4k gold. He can just spend on anything.
Yeah.
Probably even more.
Obviously, it could still work out. They are up 2 pairs of racks right here with the melee in both the middle and the top. Here we go, though. Clank's going to be jumped. They were baiting this out, though. Will it work out? There comes a Storm Spear. Corrupted Disciple holding his ground. He does have life still now, by the way. He went for the, well, whatever. Anyways, there's a turn, though, with Behemoth once again. Corrupted Disciple going to be swapped out. No, it didn't actually swap him out. He swapped out Tempest, actually. To stop the ultimate, and Corrupted Disciple still left in the midst of it. He will go down again. He does not have any more buybacks. Clanks is able to right-click right here and gonna clean up, it looks like. So with 3 dead, Bubbles did die. He buys back, buys post ace, and now he's coming back in. So he did have all that gold saved up. Really kind of silly there, but it doesn't matter in the end. I mean, they are gonna win this game. Mystery Gang will take game number 1 here in this best of 3. Magnus goes in with the eruption, but obviously it doesn't matter at this time. GG, well played. Mystery Gang, the gold team, takes the first game over Rexar's Reborn here, and it was not an easy effort either. I mean, they were behind early on, and they were able to fight through it. So well played on their part, definitely.
Definitely, and you know what? If I'm Rexar's coming into this next game, I would be a little bit tilted. Like you sat with like you probably think you had right around the 10k lead, and you managed to throw that away. That definitely that hits you. No matter how good of a team you are, no matter what your spirit is, it's still something that they can feel it in Sky right now. So I hope they can someone take a breather and get back into this game too and realize their mistakes and do better because they were definitely a little bit shaky. But they did show that they have what it takes. They just need to connect that final bit into a win.
Now, not to jinx Mystery Gang here or anything, but last cycle we saw a gold
Yeah.
team up 1-0. They lost it 2-1 in the end. This
Yep.
cycle we saw on Tuesday, Polymorph was up 1-0. They were up in the second game, and they ended up losing not only that game but the series 2 games to 1 against Revolution. So feel good.